Okay, so I pick up the loot card. It is a blue slot, and it's plus 1 health, which is good. On the cards, you can kind of see around them on the edge, direct edge, certain symbols and colors. At the bottom, there's a little blue circle. On the right, there's a green square. On the top, is like a red diamond thing, and on the far left is like an orangish yellow color. Um, doesn't matter about the shape, just really the color. Those are your slots that you can use up for your different treasures and loots. You can only have one slotted unless the card specifically states you can have another slotted in that area. If you get another loot and you want to put it in that slot, it will immediately destroy the one that previously had. You can't swap around. But you can hold that card. You can use that card to give you one heal or one effect removal as well at the end of the turn or whenever you want to use it. So you must use it or it gets destroyed at the end of the turn. You can decide whether or not you want to at that time put it on that hero or save it. But you have to decide where it goes at the end of your turn at least. So I slotted on the Barbarian, giving her a little bit more health, and moving on. I moved the Ranger back out of line of sight, looks like. You can see the areas of the dungeon that do not have a specific tile square around it count as like a area, well, not, excuse me, not area effect, a line of sight breaker, and it is a wall and you can't go through it. So I moved the Ranger out to attempt to not be attacked. I think, of course, she still gets attacked. Again, my models aren't painted all fully yet, so excuse them, but they are getting there. So what happens is, after my activation, it is now her turn to activate 4 skulls worth of minions and denizens. And it looks like the Iron Scale here is a 2 skull. So he runs down, and I think he got mad at my ranger for doing some damage, and is going to attack her apparently. He's got 2 attacks. So we roll him up. I have 3 blue armor for my ranger. She has a red and a blue dice for her attacks. None of those symbols, those special symbols like potions and hearts, help the enemy. Only the heroes. And only when you're attacking. So in defending, I don't get a heart. And nor does she get a potion for attacking. So she rolled a red and a blue for her first attack. 2 stars against my 1. I will take a wound. Alright, for her second attack, this is a whiff. She rolls a potion and a heart, which is nothing, because it doesn't count anything for the minions and denizens. And I roll a 5, which is kind of a good roll, but there's nothing to block. But just to show you how that works. And in this picture, just showing you, because she caused the wound, regardless of where it's coming from, the power gauge will go up. So she gets that 1 skull. Again, I didn't cause any of those wounds, so my loot meter doesn't go up, just the power gauge. So here in this area, this is just kind of where her cards are for each minion / denizen, just to show you what stats they have. So keep it in front of you. You can put the skull anywhere, but she puts it in front of her just so she knows that she has it. And again, the console's turn again activates 4 skulls worth of models, or minions, or enemy, whatever you want to call them. The Iron Scale obviously counts as 2 skulls, as I said before. And these little guys, one's a knucklehead on the left area. He's got like a little helmet. Counts as 1, so he runs from the other spawn point here. And so does that Flinger. He throws hot rocks and stuff like that, and he generally just throws stuff. So he's like a ranged model. If you do not attack or use any of your attack moves, special moves, you may run, which is double your movement. So in this case, she can't reach anyone. So at this point, she's going to rush me. So she activates the rest of her models and runs them into the corner over there, ready to attack me. I decide to activate my Paladin now. I really wanted to try to get to that chest because sometimes you kind of overlook either a spawn point or a chest. It's really hard um, to manage in this game. Sometimes you might get caught up in just killing monsters, and then when the dungeon boss comes out, he, you know, has a lot of attacks because you leave those spawn points. So I decided to try to beef up my characters as soon as possible. So I ran my paladin up there for next turn to open that chest. It counts one action point to open up a chest. Paladin has 3 action points, but again, I ran him so I don't have any action points. There are 2 different types of things on the top of a card. There's a D-pad, which is your movement, and then there's a button, which is your action points. Basically, how many times you can smash that button is how many times you can attack or use any special moves. So once I ran my paladin, she ran some more minions over, um, and I then activate my mage. She does lots of fire stuff. Um, Threw a bunch of fireballs basically at that spawn point, but only managed to wound once. She has 3 attacks, so obviously 2 missed and 1 hit. That sucks. Um, so yeah, that would be catching. That would catch on fire if it was a minion that had multiple wounds. But in this case, spawn points don't activate, so it being caught on fire wouldn't really matter because it doesn't activate and therefore would not take a wound for being on fire. So it's a bunch of whiffs. That sucked. So this is just an overview. Basically, she's running all her minions up. Um, Not too many things you can do as the console right here. Just kind of set up where you want to be coming in at, blocking, etc. You can't move through models unless you have fly, um, but you can see through models. So planning is good, but it's a simple game, so there's not a lot of uh, extreme strategy to it. So more running on her part and whatnot. I activate the druid. Looks like gonna target that iron scale to free up that area in case I need to run around. Um, Plus, I think I just need 1 damage to go over the edge to get a loot. So I think I target him and do some attacks. So I roll a 3 on a red on the red, um, or for my attack or whatever, and I get the loot, and it's a +1 blue armor dice. So that's pretty cool. I turn my druid. This is a 2-parter here. I turn my druid to do an AOE, a burst attack, and I whiff that on those models down in the corner, right hand corner. Um, so he's done activating. Of course, she's running more models, more enemies, more minions. I activate my barbarian with the red head. She runs over there for 6. And I believe she whiffs all her attacks. I think she kills 1 guy over there and whiffs 2 attacks. So that kind of sucked. Oh well. She's over there now, so she doesn't have to go too far to make more attacks for next turn. This is round 2. You can see more enemies have spawned on the upper left-hand corner. They spawn out of that spawning point right next to my mage. And the other spawning points you can see around that tile map are spawning more bad guys. So it is imperative to start winning these initiative rolls. Don't want to get too swamped. But regardless, it is still a balanced game because you activate a hero and she activates or he activates 4 skulls worth of models. So when we toss the dice, I roll a 3 and a 1, which is 4, and she rolls a 5. 3, 4, 5. So not looking good for the. Looks like the console's going to go first here and start whooping up on me. And she proceeds to. We've got an iron scale, a gouger, and a flinger over there. The iron scale hits me, and the gouger hits me, and I don't think the flinger does anything. But, yeah. Not a good place to be when they spawn, right next to them. Yep, so here's my Ember Mage still has 2 potions on her and 2 damage now. Put the heart tokens right there on top of her. You can see there on her card, the D-pad up in the right-hand corner is a 6, and there's a button which is a 3, and then there's some stats underneath that. How many potions and hearts she can have is under where those potion tokens are. Special moves are those red buttons you can use. Costs whatever that number is. You have to roll a dice for the red buttons. The blue buttons you do not have to roll a dice. Then there's potions, and the potions have different stats, and those stats can be lent to any one of your heroes or used on any one of your heroes. So that's also pretty cool.